Hey photographers, can you believe it's already the end of the year? While you may still be busy with editing, sending out galleries, and holiday shoots, there's one thing we cannot forget to do. That's getting our finances in order for tax season. In today's video, I'm giving you a super simple year-end tax checklist to make sure you're prepared and not scrambling come tax time. Trust me, following this checklist will save you stress, time, and maybe even money when April rolls around. Hi, my name is Heather, and I am a wedding and senior photographer based in PA. I help other photographers like you feel more confident about the business side of things, especially when it comes to taxes and finances. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what steps to take to close out your books for the year and walk into tax season with confidence. This video is brought to you by my free masterclass, Maximizing Your Tax Deductions as a Photographer. In this masterclass, I'll walk you through the 5 most common tax deductions that photographers miss when preparing for tax season. I'll give you actionable tips so you can maximize your deductions and keep more of your hard-earned income. You can find a link to the class in the show notes. Okay, are you ready for the checklist? Let's dive on in. The first thing on the checklist is organize your income and expenses. Now, in this first step, you want to make sure all of your income and expenses are accounted for, and here's how to do it. The first step is make sure your bank records match. So you're going to want to reconcile your business bank account with your bookkeeping software and make sure everything lines up and there's no numbers that are off. If you're not using software, go through your bank statements for each month to ensure you've captured every transaction. This is a big thing to make sure you're not missing any income or expenses that your business made throughout the year. The next thing you want to do is double check that income. You want to make sure you've included all of your revenue. It could be things like your client payments, your print sales, and any side gigs like second shooting. You want to make sure anything from credit cards to checks to cash that you've received has been captured and is all accounted for. Then the next thing you want to do is categorize your expenses. Make sure you break expenses into categories like equipment, subscriptions, and marketing, plus so many more. If you're not sure what counts as a category, go ahead and check out my free guide, 15 Business Tax Categories Breakdown Guide. In this guide, I will walk you through the 15 most common tax write-off categories and what expenses fall under each of them. You can grab this guide at the link in the show notes as well. All right, the second thing you want to do on your checklist is review your deductions. You want to make sure that you are maximizing your deductions, and so that is just making sure that everything is categorized so you can get the correct deduction amount that you're supposed to receive. Here are some big ones for photographers that I want to make sure you don't miss. The first one is mileage. Did you make sure you tracked all of your drives for shoots, meetings, or even just to the post office? This could be doing it by paper and pen, or if you used an app, make sure you're going in there and sliding if it was business or personal so that everything is categorized. The next deduction is home office. If you work from home, make sure you're calculating the square footage of your home workspace and also your entire home so that you have those numbers ready for your home office deduction. Next one is gear and software. Please don't forget expenses for equipment, editing software, and even your website hosting fees. These are all deductible, and we want to make sure you save as much money as possible. And then lastly is education. If you attended a workshop, had purchased online courses, or even went to a conference this year, those costs count as deductions too. If you're unsure about what qualifies for a deduction for your business, just make sure you jot down those questions and ask your CPA when you meet with them for your yearly review. The third thing on that tax checklist is to gather receipts and documentation. So now it's time to collect all of the proof for those deductions. The first thing is gather receipts for anything you're going to be deducting. This could be physical or digital. And so you want to make sure you're gathering them all together, keeping them in a folder, whether it's physically in your office or on your email digitally, so that everything is in one place. You also make sure you're collecting any invoices and contracts that you've had throughout the year. Make sure all of your client payments are backed up with proper records. And then the last thing you want to make sure you're gathering for documentation is those mileage logs. If you tracked your mileage manually, double check for accuracy and then keep all of those drives for the year together in one spot. If you use an app like MileIQ, make sure you download the monthly and yearly logs for your drives so you have proof of everywhere you went. Now, here's a pro tip. Moving forward, make sure you create a folder for your receipts and categorize them by deduction type throughout the year to make this process easier next year. Make sure you're doing that in 2025. All right, the fourth thing on your tax checklist is prepare for estimated taxes. If you've been paying estimated taxes quarterly, now's the time to calculate your final payment that's due January 15th. You want to review your total income and compare that income to your earlier estimates to see if you owe more or less. In addition to that, you want to set money aside. If you've had a busy Q4, make sure you're saving enough money for this final payment so that bill doesn't come as a scare to you. The fifth thing on your checklist is evaluate your business finances. Year end is also a great time to reflect on your business's financial health, not only just to prepare for taxes. So you're going to want to make sure you review your profit and loss statement so that you can see how much you made and spent in the year. If you use QuickBooks, you can download this statement to review. And if not, you can create a spreadsheet or grab the tax prep spreadsheet in my shop to easily see your profit and loss numbers each month. The next thing is you want to check for if you're going to be needing to buy new gear or making big purchases next year. Consider buying it now to take advantage of the deduction this tax season. Definitely talk with your CPA about this because they're going to be able to give you the best advice based on where your business is financially right now to decide if you should purchase it this year or next year. And the last thing you want to review is if you should raise your rates. Use this financial review to decide if it's time to adjust your pricing for next year. And then the last thing you want to make sure you're doing for this tax checklist is to meet with your CPA. This is the perfect time to schedule a meeting with your accountant or tax professional, not only for tax purposes, but also just to check in with them and get questions answered. So make sure when you have that meeting with them, you're bringing all of those records and receipts and documentation that you've been collecting, and you want to make sure that you're giving it to them so that they can easily file your taxes for you without having to do a lot of back and forth. And then lastly, like I mentioned, bring any questions that you might have for them. Get clarity on anything you're unsure of about your deductions or business structure or anything else that may be changing in 2025. Make sure that you are open with them and asking them the questions so that your business can be the best place it can be financially. And there you have it, your year-end tax checklist for photographers. By taking these steps now, you'll save yourself the stress of last-minute scrambling and be ready to crush tax season. If you found this video helpful, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what is one thing you always forget to do at year-end. I would love to give you some tips so that you don't forget it next time. And don't forget to sign up for my free masterclass so that you can make sure you're maximizing your tax deductions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.